Paul? How do you spell that last name?
M-E-L-I-E-S.
Melise.
Yeah.
He's going to say it correct.
All right.
Chaplain Paul Maloof. Because I didn't see, we don't have Paul and we don't have Pastor
All
Luke.
right.
Okay.
And it is time.
Yep, let's go.
There it is. All right. Evening, everyone, and welcome to commission meeting for Tuesday, February the 24th. And if you would please, as a first item, make sure that all of your cell phones are silenced or turned off so we're not disturbed. Thank you. This time we'll have the roll call.
Mayor Faulkner,
Here?
Commissioner Hendricks,
Here.
Vice Mayor Maples,
Here?
Commissioner Golden,
Here on phone.
and Commissioner Golden will be joining us by phone. Commissioner Kendall.
Here. All right, next, in the absence of our regular pastor for this evening, we will have Chaplain Paul Malise. If you will please lead us in prayer, and please remain standing following for the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you would, go to the podium for that. Thank you.
Father, thank you for every seat that has been filled here today. For each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room, we thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. Guide our ideas and our visions so that they may align with your vision and our purpose to serve our community and our veterans. Bless this meeting today, all those present, as well as the lives of those we will encounter afterwards. Ready us to make every moment count. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. And next on the item is review of the agenda. Was there any additions or corrections?
Yeah, I'm going to make a motion I move to amend the agenda to add an executive session to discuss confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Maples, seconded by Mayor Faulkner to amend the agenda to add an executive session to discuss confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
All right, next is the consent agenda. Items 1 through 7, but before we proceed with that, now Vice Mayor, would you please give us a synopsis on number 2, City of Coffeyville Payment Report?
Sure. Giving a few highlights of what we are doing this period. We have Algier Martin and Associates. That's the lagoon liner for $32,234.80. We have Asplund Tree Expert Company, $15,877.20. B&G Consultants Incorporated, and that's for the 166 and Luark, $14,796.16. Coffeyville Plaza Sales Tax, $4,989.34. Coffeyville Regional Medical Center Sales Tax Distribution, $99,101.10. Grand River Dam Authority for power purchase, $2,170,251.94. Hawkins for a polymer for $19,792.08. J. Graham Construction, That's for concrete for the tennis courts and the CRMC street area pavement. $301,489.65. Kansas Department of Revenue, those are sales taxes, $67,144.95. Kansas Municipal Gas Agency, $1,570,511. Neal Hotels, that's another CID tax, $5,488.44. Southwest Power Pool, $905,430.12. Olson and Associates, those are transformer, it looks like 2 transformer replacements, $23,358.57. Southwest Power Administration for energy purchase, $17,626.56. Crystal Lake Fisheries, that's for stocking the LeClaire Park Pond, $2,002.50. GovWell Technologies, that's a new software for our building permits and coding and licensing, $18,000. Mueller Construction, field site prep, that's the Feaster Park area behind the airport. That's to get ready for those new soccer fields, $23,908. Let's see, and then we have a payroll this period of $444,380.29. Do we have any questions?
I do. Mr. Brubaker, was you able to find that answer I
Yes.
asked you yesterday about?
Yes. So on the payment plan, you'll see a payment. I believe it was $6,550 to Chase. That is for the grants for the murals over the railroad, or on that'll be attached to the railroad. So we have 2 different agreements with those artists. One artist is a bill as they go, as they are incurring costs, they're going to bill. And that was the $1,397 you saw last time. So Chase's is the $6,550. His is a half up front, half when complete. And so that's his first payment for half up front.
Thank you for the clarity.
The total in kind that the city paid as part of that grant was $15,000, and the grant portion was $10,000. There was some in kind match within that $15,000 for some of the staff labor and things, but those are the dollar amounts you've seen so far.
Thank you for clarifying.
Is this question on the payments or on the consent agenda?
Consent agenda.
Okay. I wouldn't mind if Allison would give a little rundown on the stop loss health insurance and kind of how the last year went and where we're headed on that. Just a quick summary
Okay, so there are no further questions on the expenditures, is that correct?
on expenditures.
No.
Okay, all right. Allison, floor is yours.
So health insurance is running actually better than we anticipated. We just recently met with our third-party administrator regarding how it is that this first half of the plan year is run, and things are right on track, moving along well. If you look at the agenda item that you have for this evening, binding coverage for this coming plan year, all of those costs are right in line, actually a little bit lower than what we expected to see. So the bottom line of where it is that we're at is a 3% decrease over the current plan year expenses. Anything else that you'd like to know, or any other
Is that
specific
because of the claims
questions?
from the previous years? Is that how this one works? Sort of.
That's a piece of the puzzle. And so with us being a partially self-funded plan, you have your stop loss coverage. So that stop loss stops each of our claims, each of our covered individuals at a maximum of $50,000 total expenses. We also carry an aggregate claims, which which maxes or caps our bucket of total overall claims at a certain limit. And then we have individual coverages within there for teledoc, for our pharmacy benefit, for all kinds of other pieces that go into that puzzle. So yes, it can be tied to claims, which is why you see the amount on the cover of the staff report showing our balance carryover that's available. So that amount is tied to the actual claims. And then the rest of those pieces all fluctuate year over year.
Okay.
So just to make sure that the cost to the city on this is the 454,000.
For stop loss itself, yes. For the entire insurance package itself, it's 2.177 million for everything to be covered within that over the next plan year.
And that includes the claims the city pays self-funds,
Right.
plus the 454. So
It
you add it all
includes-
together.
Right, that includes everything that the city covers. So that is essentially, the city is tied to a minimum of 10,712 per covered employee. And all of that comes together to fund the stop loss, the aggregate coverage, the third-party administrator, teledoc, the life insurance piece, as well as all of the claims. And then the employee premiums come in and get added into that fund to continue the payment of all of those claims.
So this is covering starting April 1st to the next March
Right.
31st.
Yes.
And so what you're saying is this last year, well, you have the numbers for this, but, okay. So this past year, we're about at 2.24 million total cost?
Yes. Mm-hmm. You're looking at your insurance spreadsheet?
Yeah, and we still
Mm-hmm.
have a month to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So that number, that 2.245 million from last year was the total. That's if we had to pay every last dollar reaching to those stop loss coverages and the aggregate bucket.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't, the claims don't always fall that way, which is why it is that you see on the staff report the amount of money that we have in that carryover.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
All right. Any other questions on the consent agenda?
No, for me.
Nope.
All right then, there being none, I move to approve items 1 through 7 of the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks to approve items 1 through 7 of the consent agenda as presented. Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Right, next, we have comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a comment or address the commission? There being none, we'll proceed. There are no public hearings, special presentations, or proclamations. There is no old business to take care of, so moving on to new business. First on the agenda is Resolution R-26-24, a resolution to authorize a purchase of Xylem Evoqua Water Technologies for softener bed replacement and carbon rebed service. Director of Electric Chris Weiner will make comments. Evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having us this evening. I have here with me our Superintendent of Generation, Jonathan Carson. Certainly he'll be able to provide more detail on the technical aspects of this if you have any questions. But the gist of this is that we need to spend the expected cost is about just over $34,000, but we're asking for a not to exceed amount for $40,000 to replace the water filter, basically at the steam power plant. The filter has a lifespan of about 10 years. Our existing one is about 14 years old, so it's past its service life. It's no longer able to do its job. The process essentially is that it has to strip out the remaining chlorine and the remaining particulates that is in the city water that we get to run the steam plant. It has to be as pure as possible to be able to not damage the plant itself and the processes there. So it's got to be very, very clean, even more so than our city potable water, what makes it clean enough to drink. So the process essentially goes through different filter medias to make sure that it does strip those things out of the water before we can inject it into our steam plant processes. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address or have Mr. Carson address. Anything else you'd like to add to that, John?
No, this is, the resin beds will need to be, they're pretty hazardous material. There's 3 individuals from this company that'll come on site, proper PPE. They'll vac truck these out, and put the new chemical in. Then this will help us get, our parts per million need to be around 0 for the chlorine. When we get it from city water, it's about 4. Everything inside the boiler, condenser, economizer, everything is metal, okay? Chlorine attacks metal, then that is affecting the longevity of our system. So we need to do this upgrade to keep Unit 7 in the steam plant.
So we're past time to do it too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is this particular filter, or this group of filters equipment, was this accounted for in the previous budget request?
So this particular item was not planned for in the CIP plan. No, this is where I would like to have these types of things planned ahead. So this is an expense that we will just have to pay for out of our existing operational budget, because I did not plan for this in our 810 fund.
All right, might suggest for the next budget cycle, take a look at all of those items that you do need, and don't come like like coming to Santa Claus or asking for more, but plan ahead as much as possible.
Absolutely, and I will say that we do plan every year for substantial repairs to our existing equipment within our operational budget. So this will still come out. We do have enough budget within our operational budget to account for this. It's just something that an expense of this size, my preference would be that we do account for that in the 810 reserve account, the depreciation and replacement fund,
Yeah.
rather than our operational fund.
I kind of see this as an expense versus a major capital thing. Major capital thing in the electric generation is in the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, and this is a filter replacement.
In the greater scheme of things, it's insignificant, but
And sometimes filters like these are based on what water you're measuring, the water you're checking it, and so when it starts to kind of veer off, then okay, time to replace it. And sometimes they last longer
Right.
than you might think. So
The
okay,
amount of runs will affect the longevity, yes.
yeah. So okay,
okay.
I'm
Any
good.
questions?
No.
I do. On this order, you put 10% contingency fee, and I've noticed you do that when you're asking to get monetary pass for something, issues or items, whatever it may be. Can you explain the contingency fee?
So essentially, the contingency is to allow a little bit of extra there in the event that we have to spend that money to be able to accomplish the project. It's not that we will spend that. So like in this case, we know we're going to spend, the quoted amount is $34,000 and some change, $82, I think. And so we expect that will be the bill and that we won't have to pay anything more than that. But in the event that they show up on site and wind up having additional time that it takes to replace it, that they're here for 4 days instead of 2 days. Those types of situations, there's extra expense that is incurred beyond what we originally anticipated, and so the contingency allows us to continue to move forward with the project without having to come back to you and say, hey, I have these guys sitting around because I've had to tell them to stop because we don't have the authority to pay them to continue to be here past 2 days, but I need them for another 2 days to get this project accomplished. So the contingency allows us the ability to move forward in the event that we have small changes that are increases in price.
And that, I will say that you will see that on nearly every project like this, especially when we have contractors coming out, because we will incur costs for them to sit there, or a project has to be delayed when we're coming back to a commission, 2 weeks later. Now, this past summer, we had some special sessions because we were out tearing apart our engines there at New Generation, and our contingency was several $100,000, and it was well above that, and so we did have to come out. But you will see, Commissioner Kendall, nearly every one of these, we're putting contingencies in place because we just see those costs. They're quoted, people come in and start taking things apart, those costs can increase.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Being none, then I move to approve resolution R-26-24 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Vice Mayor Maples, to approve Resolution R-26-24 as presented. Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Next is resolution R-26-25. A resolution to authorize a purchase order to Siemens Energy for the purchase of a replacement circuit breaker to serve the Coffeyville Resources nitrogen fertilizer plant. Director of Electric Chris Weiner will make comments.
Hello again. I have Kurt Taylor, our Superintendent of Distribution, here with me to discuss any technical aspects of this particular purchase and project. This is a circuit breaker similar to the one that works in your house, just much, much bigger. As you'll see, you're not going to find this at Ace Hardware or anything like that. We have to purchase this special. And so our existing circuit breaker there has been worn out. The more you use a breaker, the more it trips. Eventually that will no longer function and do its job. And so it's our existing breakers to the point to where it's reached its end of service life, as well as we're leaking some gas that we need to make sure that we're able to correct. And so we're trying to get a new circuit breaker here to replace that existing one. It is what allows the CRNF engines to start the way that they need to, and without having significant impacts that they have to operate a little bit differently to bring those engines online. So it's really to benefit them and them alone. As such, whenever we have these types of situations that serve directly CRNF, those expenses are billed directly to them. So this will be a reimbursable purchase from the CRNF plant. So I've already spoken with the plant manager, Robbie Collins, today, and we had a conversation about this purchase, and he was perfectly fine with that because they understand the need for, we need to keep them in operation, keep them with power. So we'll pay the bill, but then we'll be reimbursed for it full price. Any questions on it? I have Mr. Taylor here to answer any technical aspects.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Is the city gonna install it, or will we have the contractor come out and install it, or who's gonna pay for the labor hours?
We should install it.
And will we get reimbursed from the refinery for that as well? Or is that just for the circuit breaker itself?
So when we do incur labor costs as well that are only benefiting CRNF, we do also pass those costs along as well.
Thank you.
With no other questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-26-25 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks, to approve Resolution R-26-25 as presented. Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Next is an ordinance, not a resolution, ordinance G-26-02, an ordinance to amend the fiber rate schedule as currently established as part of the City of Coffeyville fee schedule. Director Chris Weiner will make comments.
All right. Appreciate, again, have this conversation. We are here doing this via ordinance. Reason being is we want to standardize this process for rates across the board with the city. Historically, this has been done via the city's fee schedule for the fiber rates, but we felt as if it would be more appropriate, like we do with electric rates, water rates, et cetera, that these be set via ordinance. So that is why you see this as an ordinance compared to how you've seen them in the past. With that said, the proposal here in front of you this evening is to increase our residential rates. We have 3 tiers. We're looking to increase the lowest tier for speeds. We're looking at increasing that by $5 a month from $60 to $65. But in addition to that price increase, they are seeing an increase in speed from 100 megabytes a second to 250. So you're seeing a 2.5 times increase in that speed. In addition to that, we are looking at the middle tier, which is currently that 250 speed. We're going to have that be a 500 megabyte speed, so they're doubling in speed, but that tier is not increasing in price. We're going to keep that at that $80 a month, and then the top tier of a gigabit is going to stay at the 110 that it's currently at. So we believe that this will be more competitive and a situation that will allow us some more stability. We feel as if on the commercial side we're quite a bit low compared to what our competitors are at today. And so we're looking at having a tiered structure there. As you'll see in your packets, have the lowest tier, 50 megabytes a second, going to $50 a month. The next tier of 100 going to $75. Then 250 will be $100. 500 will be to $125, and the gigabit speed for business will be $150 a month. So what we're increasing costs or prices for those plans as businesses, to be able to continue to pay the bills that we incur. We've been building out a substantial portion of the community. Here we've had this utility really as a full-fledged separate department and utility now for just over a year. Brent came on board just before I did here with the city back in August of last year. And then we were able to get the rest of his crew, two other crew members hired, I believe in October of last year. Or sorry, not last year, in 2024. But so we've really made a tremendous amount of headway. I've been incredibly impressed with the work that Brent and his team have done to be able to expand this fiber service offering to our community. But that comes at a cost, obviously. We had to give a substantial loan to the fiber utility from the electric utility to be able to continue to build out into the community. Where I would say at this point we're about 2/3 through the community, and we're continuing to build out further. So we are on at the moment, I think our trajectory is looking good, but we're not cash flow positive as of yet. And so we need to continue to gain customers. That's really our focus. Our communications director, Ashley Tapman, has put together some advertising and marketing materials for us that once these rates, if they do get passed, our plan is to go ahead and start really pushing hard advertising out in the community that, hey, we're available. We feel as if we offer a very competitive product, a very competitive service and price point for our community. And so we believe that our market share will pick up substantially. We'll be able to improve customers here in Coffeyville. We'll be able to improve our residents and our businesses' opportunities for internet connectivity and internet service compared to what they have today in a lot of cases. And so we're really excited about that and offering this service to our community. So if you have further technical questions as well, obviously Brent here as the superintendent of fiber can answer some of those questions, but we're really excited about the future, but we need some help to be able to make sure that we can be on a good trajectory moving forward from a financial standpoint.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
As part of I'm looking at the list here, installation charges, and then for residential and commercial, then to go down to next to the last item on the list is listed as turn off or turn on fee of $25. Explain that.
So I believe in this particular situation we're talking about if somebody essentially already has the infrastructure set up that then, just like when we have to do a meter turn on, turn off for electric utility or the water utility, there's a fee to get hooked up, even though the infrastructure is already there, because it takes staff time to be able to take that call and turn on that service or turn off that service, et cetera. So this is to essentially say, we don't have to do an install because our infrastructure is already at your residence. Somebody else who lived there before you already had the city internet. So now we are just, you're net new, and we want to now hook you up.
So if you're lucky enough that
If you-
somebody had it
Yeah.
before and you bought the house,
Yeah.
you're not
Okay.
paying 125.
You're-
You're paying 25 for them turn
So
on.
if
It's
it's
not
over,
an additional fee, it's a separate fee.
Correct.
Yeah.
so if the hardware, if the line is already there, we're not paying a $125 installation charge, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes,
Only the turn on $25 on-off fee.
Yeah.
yes.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
I have a question. So inside the city limits, about what percent of the town is, or houses are ready to hook up today? And how much more build out do you have to do to neighborhoods, and what might be the time frame for that?
I'll let you field that one.
Two-thirds, I'd say two-thirds. We're about two-thirds of the way. We've got some on the north side and the south side still to do. It won't be hard to reach those. Also the west side, we haven't made it out there yet. We've done a lot of testing. We've got, we've tied fibers in to be able to do it. We've got a lot of squirrel chew fiber that got ran a long time ago. It wasn't ever touched, so it's chewed up. We did a lot of testing, and there's a big chunk of it that's not any good because they were very hungry apparently. So, but I think by the end of summer we'll have the west side and at least be working on.
So of the third remaining of the inside the city limits,
Mhm.
you think you'll hook up half of those in the next year, or not quite that? Or when will you finish the rest of the third? Is that a 3-year
Oh, we'll have it
project?
done
or-
this year.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, we'll
All
have
of it done?
this year. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. And then about how many customers do we have outside the city limits, and have you got more
I don't know
calls from-
exactly numbers on outside city limits. We've focused a little more outside city limits than I wanted to because antique line of sight equipment is falling apart. And so to retain those customers and make sure they have something, we're doing what we can. If they're within reach, we're trying to move them over onto fiber. So
You mean you were trying to retain current customers or
Right.
longtime
they're
customers?
they're on
from
the
a-
line of sight, which they're paying basically the same amount for our lowest tier of fiber for not a very good connection on the line of sight stuff.
Yeah.
And it's breaking.
And
so
then
we're
there's
trying-
some that you're just going to lose.
There's some
You're
some
not-
on the other side of Deering or the other side of South Coffeyville
That-
that we just have to lose. We don't.
What
We can't
about
say.
fiber to the industrial park?
To the industrial park, it's possible. It's going to be a little expensive because there's going to be some underground work. It's doable. We have it out there. We have a feed out there, and actually that feeds out south of Walmart, out in the rural area out that way. So it's doable.
All right, and the reason I mention that is, I was at a recent MAC meeting, and the city is aware, we have 2 certified sites at the industrial park now, a 60-acre plus and a 20-acre plus site. And for major, if there was some industry decided they wanted to come, fiber would be a very, very good item to have on the list.
It's doable.
A service available for them.
Yeah.
Well, if they didn't want to run it now and you had to run it later, how would that take a week or 2, or it could be fairly
I mean, it
quick?
depends. If it's underground, are we talking we're going to have to bore? Are we going to be able to trench? Is there poles we can get on? So if it's aerial, me and my crew can do it relatively quickly. But if it's in the ground and we have to hire contractors, then that changes things.
Just be aware.
We're out there and we have the ability to do it. So
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I like the tiers. I know you put a lot of thought into it. I know this may change in a year or two as, times change, competition comes, you're trying to compare, and then as we gain customers, I know we're still running in the red. We're not cash flow positive. and we're trying to get there and treat this as a separate utility and try to get there, so I understand. Thanks.
Am I able to be heard for a comment and a question?
Yep.
Hey, Chris, this is Mike. Sorry for not being there. I appreciate all you do for our city. My question is the $5 increase at the lowest tier. A, will the people who currently have that service have the option to keep the service they have, or will they be forced, in essence, to get the upgraded higher speed service? Second, this is more of a comment. Do I understand this correctly? Are we passing that $5 to increase to the lower tier, if I understood the proposal and the prospectus in front of me, that to the families that are struggling the most, the lower income families, the ones with kids in school that are using the fiber or the internet for just that? I look at some of these families where $5 would be able to take them, several times to and from work, in fuel. And I know for a fact of people that go out of this town to South Coffeyville to save 15 cents or 10 cents a gallon in fuel. So do I understand the lowest tier is one of the ones that's being increased and not the top tier?
You are correct in your assessment there.
Thank you.
And your initial point on, are we forcing the transition of existing customers that are on the lowest tier, forcing the price increase from 60 to 65, and increasing the speed. The intent there is, yes, that would be the case, that we will be transitioning them to a faster speed automatically, but that, yes, they
What
would
if they don't
also
want it?
see that price increase.
Sorry for interrupting, Chris. What if they don't want it and they're happy with the service they have? Is there an option to opt out?
At this point, the answer to that question, I would say, would be no. And the rationale there is that what we're trying to, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're trying to find ways that we can increase a little bit of revenue to be able to sustain the utility, to be able to make sure that, hey, we are still price competitive. I believe that we are at the price point that we're looking at increasing to. And we need to try and find ways that we want to say, hey, at the end of the day, 100 megabytes a second, in today's world, if you're streaming really more than, one TV show, it's especially, you're looking at that your technology is such that you're buffering all the time, you're loading, it's getting more and more difficult to have functional internet based on the technology of today, and that's just going to become more and more true as we move forward. The 50 megabyte plan for the businesses that we're offering is really only if I think we have it in the packet of information there. Only offering that if you're in a situation to where you have basically one machine that you're operating a credit card, a square off of, that type of situation. So technology is increasing to the point to where we really need these kind of technological offerings from a speed perspective, and it's just going to continue to go that direction. But on the same hand, from a cash flow perspective, it's something that we felt like, hey, we really need to increase prices. And so since we're going to have to do that, we want to try and say, we want to give you a little bit more for that price. We want to try and say, if we're going to have to increase prices anyways, we want to try and be able to say, hey, here is a speed increase along with your price increase.
Can I speak
How many
to that?
pair of fiber is that?
Absolutely. Brent would like to speak to that as well, please.
I was just going to say that our competitors, the 100 meg is good, but for the future, it's not going to be good forever. We need to move up to be more competitive. But still at 250, our competitors at 250 megs per second, they're selling it for around 120 a month. So
Yeah.
we're still very low. At $60, we're almost giving it away.
Well, now,
Well, I kind of broke it down in, if you think about it like you're buying in bulk, at the $60 for 100 meg right now, we're selling it for 60 cents a meg, right? So if this new brings it down to 26 cents. And so if you want to go up to the next tier, it's 16 cents a meg, and then the next tier is 11 cents. So it's kind of, if you're willing to spend a little more money, you get a little more, of course. It's how things work. But our competitors are selling this for twice as much as we are. We still have upgrades. We have routers, we have switches, we have infrastructure that we have to keep up with. And so we can't just give it away. It's the reason why we wanted to increase on the business side, because there's higher demand on how much data they use. There's constant streaming with them. And we also guarantee a 24-hour response with them. We're willing to drop what we're doing and go out and fix those as soon as they call and say we're out, because we understand that, you know, their business doesn't
Yeah.
operate without internet.
I want to bring up a couple points that, one, you're trying to, I understand it's $5, and to some it may be important, but we also want to make the point that the potential number of customers you haven't reached yet. There is a large group of customers right now in the lower income range that are struggling, and right now they're paying over $100.
Mm-hmm.
And to get to this, even 65 would be a huge benefit to them, and it'd be a better experience for everything, you know, as they're working for school or personal reasons, whatever. And we're trying to operate less in the red, you know, subsidizing this utility, because that's just money we can use somewhere else in the city for other things. So it'll help you gain customers, get less in the red, offer, you know, as you build out, you're going to be able to get people who are now paying over $100 a month for even 50 or 100 meg, and get them on a better experience for less money.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about this.
I will say on the, you know, Brent made the comments that, you know, our competitors are, we're still very competitive as you did as well, Commissioner Hendricks, but on the business side, we are even more so. You know, we're increasing prices more dramatically on the business side, but I would say we could double our prices that we're recommending on the business side and still be competitive.
I know
we're not asking to do that.
I know small businesses right now paying over $300.
Well, let's
Well,
make a
just,
big
we're
marketing
saving
push.
a lot of businesses a lot of money just from talking to them as we're doing the installs. Yeah.
Marketing?
I think Commissioner Golden had another comment.
What's the count on the pair of that fiber? How many pairs is that?
What's that?
How many pair is that fiber actually containing?
How many pairs?
Pair, P-A-I-R, as in dual. I've spliced many fibers up on a pole in a previous career, so I'm just curious how many pair fiber. That was a term we used. I'm not certain if they use it in this state. What is the size of that fiber?
It's not pairs anymore. It's single fiber to the house.
Thank you. Do you anticipate new technology to come in a year or two to need to upgrade that fiber and get back into some of the aerial stuff?
Say that again?
Do you anticipate new technology of the fiber to be stronger, better, faster, whatever it may be, and need to update in the alleys?
You mean update the
streets?
actual cable?
Update the fiber itself?
Correct.
No, I don't think so. I mean, fiber is really, that's where everything's going right now.
I think that's what you
It's-
talked about before, was you're trying to buy the right stuff now that's going to
Right.
be good for
It's-
20, 30 years.
Yeah, it should last for a long time. Now,
And-
there's some back end stuff in the head end that we could upgrade
Yeah.
eventually to where we would be able to increase our speeds, but there's unlimited bandwidth on fiber.
Yeah.
So it's not like the fiber that's out there now will only do 1 meg or 1 gig, and in 10 years we need to upgrade it to do 10. No, the
Yeah.
technology, I mean, it's,
And Commissioner Golden, just they've talked about this in past sessions, coming up to the podium, and Mr. McDaniel could explain, but the biggest problem with the fiber right now is the squirrels chew it. That's where they're having to
But
go in and replace lines, and you're trying to get better
I'm not putting the
lines.
same fiber up there that
Right,
they eat,
you're trying to get
So
better line in there
I'm
that's-
putting armored stuff up there or a different cable
Yeah.
that they're not going to eat.
So-
I'm not
so-
going to put the same stuff they like to eat.
So Commissioner Golden, that's part of it, is replacing a lot of line right now that the squirrels seem to like, and
Yeah.
you know, Mr. McDaniel's
And
trying to
if
put
anybody
in.
would ever like to come and see how this thing actually works, I'd love to walk you through and give you a class on it and show you how it actually works.
So part of it is, but you're putting in
pretty
line
fascinating.
that's squirrel proof. That's technology.
Well, it's armored. They'll chew on the outside jacket, but they can't get through the armor, so it keeps it intact.
Good.
There's also smaller, more efficient stuff that we can put up that they can't get on. They can't stand on it. So what we're finding is if they can't stand on it, they're not going to eat it. So.
I'm going to say a few things here. And this does not make me popular. I know not all of our commissioners agree with this per se, and there's absolutely other ways to look at it. And ultimately, you're the authority on how we spend money here in our community. But from my perspective, the facts that I have are that Coffeyville has been, and maybe lots of rural communities do this, but we have been subsidizing our folks in town on our utilities. That's electric, that's water, and that's internet. We've had the fiber utility. You tell me, are we on? I think we're on year 8 now. You've heard a lot of things over the years on where it's at. We've brought in a team to get this done, take us over the finish line. Here we are 7-8 years in, and they've come in and just knocked this out of the park in the year and are we a year and a half yet? Year and a half that this team has been here. So to that point on, those costs, that 7-8 years and the 18 months we're in here right now, the projection is, I think it's in 29 that we'll go into the black, but it's by a very small margin to do that. It's the same with our electric. It's the same with our water. And as we're talking about certified sites and what is the future of this community, that's something I'm just going to keep ringing that bell over and over, that you'll all have to ultimately decide. We're sitting at a place right now that is, this is a 50-year decision. It only happens about every 50 years you have to make this levels of decisions. Over the next 25 years, Commission's going to have to make decisions on around 240 to 300 million in infrastructure upgrades. And how do you pay for that? And you can't pay for that by the continuation of subsidizing these utility rates. You have somewhere between a $90 and $150 million water plant. Hopefully we can wait for 25 years and we don't find out in the next 6 months that it won't last that long. You've got a wastewater treatment plant that's 26 years old. In about 25 years, it will need to be replaced at the same time a water plant. We have a steam engine that has served us well for decades and decades. It's got just a few years left. Do you replace the megawatts, the 30 some odd megawatts that it generates and the revenues that we get from that? Just water alone would cost $15 million to replace 3 miles of line every year over the next 10 years. And that line is 70 and 80 and 90 and some of it's 100 years old. At some point, it runs out. You can't wait any longer for these things. And so this one's a great example. You know what? If I had a magic wand and I was the king of Coffeyville, I'd say that these rates need to be higher than they are. Because to wait till 29, where are we getting the money to pay for that, right? All this money comes from people at some point or another. Of course, there's grants and things. That's all comes from our pocket too. But we have to make those decisions. You have to. Let me correct that. On what is the future of this community going to look like? Are we going to set ourselves up for over this next 25 years making decisions now to benefit us when all of these things come due? Because I can tell you right now, I spent a good year trying to go find 40 or 50 million just for a water plant. It doesn't exist in the state. Other communities are doing this. Other communities are 10 and 15 and 20 years ahead of us on their rates so that they can pay for these things. And we are behind. And so we're working on those. This is just one example. Frankly, just $5 on residential. I understand that really can impact a lot of people. But if we want to deliver a service, we have to be able to pay for the service. We can't have service and no cost. So I'm sorry, I'm on a rant now.
Thank you. Any other questions? Then I move to approve the first reading of ordinance G-26-02 as presented.
Second?
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks, to approve the first reading of ordinance G-26-02 as presented. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
No, next.
All right. Next is resolution R-26-26, a resolution to approve the purchase of a clear span structure for the sand and salt storage facility at 1106 Stark Avenue. Director of Public Works, Jim Wright, will make comment.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
What this is a clear span building to cover our salt and sand storage It's to cover the raw salt and also to cover our mixture of sand and salt. This, we've been working on this for several months, trying to get something done here and decide where we're gonna do it. We had a stormwater inspection and we got dinged on this. So we are needing to go ahead and move forward with this and get something purchased. What this is the frame and I believe it's a PVC tarp. I'm sure you've seen these out along the highways and different places. KDOT has these all over. They store their salt and storage in, their rocks, things like that. This would be for $31,393. This is just for the material. Public service employees would be pouring the slab and also getting the blocks that go around the perimeter, also down the middle, which would divide the raw salt from the mixture, and then the tarp and the frame would go over the top of that. It is going to be about 24 feet tall in the center by itself. Putting it on blocks, it'll reach about 32 feet, which will allow trucks and loaders to go in and be able to load the salt.
So we're doing the construction work ourselves?
Correct.
Is it not been covered all these years? Is this something new, or did it degrade, or we just don't have one, or?
Well, they had a tarp over it on the ground.
On the work order that I have, it says that quote was valid for 10 days from 2/12 of 2026. Is it still gonna be the same, or is it gonna change now?
I'm pretty sure it'll stay the same. Should. We're hoping it'll stay the same. If it changes, we will come back.
Ben, that brings up a point. If in the future, for any of these proposed contracts or bids that we have, whoever's submitting that bid needs to understand that they can't short fuse it and have the date prior to the commission meeting that's going to approve yes or no on their particular bid. They need to have that, the time, as you're alluding to, the time frame needs to give us enough time to look at it.
Yeah,
So that they can't say, well, you didn't come in time and we're gonna increase it another 5%.
So usually 15 days would cover it to make it to the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Yes,
So-
so in the future, make sure we've got a timeline that doesn't put us in the corner.
Yeah, it's absolutely don't disagree with that. Sometimes the responses you get and when you get them correlating with a meeting time can be difficult to get those responses. We're not always the top of the list of people, but yes, generally speaking, we want to make sure that happens and it's good practice. In this case, that was one of those things where we didn't expect their time frame on there, and by the time we get it, reach out, try to get others, it's commission meeting time. So in this case, a little bit unavoidable without just waiting. But yes, that's a practice we should hold to.
honor that.
I never did realize the 10 days on there because we got this price from this company because they go through Sourcewell, which is who we're a member of, and they're a purchasing co-op. So the bidding has already taken place to be a member of Sourcewell for them.
Our procurement policy, using a company like this, we don't have to go get those multiple bids if they fall under this membership category. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
But yes, we need to make sure that we don't come up against a time issue. And that's really a problem that staff doesn't want to have. We don't want to come and have to do it to you twice. So,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
what point well taken.
Thank you for catching that, Commissioner. Any additional questions?
None here.
Then I move to approve Resolution R-26-26 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, second by Vice Mayor Maples, to approve Resolution R-26-26 as presented. Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few items. Some were already brought up. Thought we'd just go over them again. The soccer fields that we're talking about from Moeller Construction that was on the payment, that is to replace soccer fields that had been used out where Gibson Street dead ends, and it comes behind the church and behind the bowling alley there. Of course, we bought that property. We've been going through platting. There's about 16 lots there. We hope to get a grant to pay for the inputting of the infrastructure, the street, the sidewalks, the lines under that street. And so anticipating applying for that grant this year, that would mean that we're not going to have those soccer practices that I believe is what was held out there. And so commission approved last year, and that work has been done. If you go up to Feaster Park, behind the Air Museum, between there and the stadium, has been a large empty field. So dirt work happened up there. Some things were taken out. Grass has probably started to grow, but in the process of coming back, we'll be putting in some gravel for parking so we don't have people tearing up the edge of the road there. But that's what, when we talk about soccer fields, that intent. So any of those listening or have kids been practicing, there'll be a change in that location. It was brought up last commission meeting about the sweeper, and I was unaware that that sweeper had already started on the streets. And so as soon as things dried up with the snow, they've been hitting the streets, and we'll continue that process. Tennis courts, I noticed we've had some folks already out there playing. Last week, we were almost complete with the north side of the cement. There's just a little bit more to do there. The contractor is also going to be putting in the shade structures themselves to make sure their bolts and everything fit. We still have concrete sidewalk and retaining wall on the east side. That's not going to keep people from playing. They can go in and play. We'll still have that work ongoing on the east side. That sidewalk connects into the bathrooms. The retaining wall there supporting the light fixtures that will come in. Bleachers will be a part of that as well as that shade structure. What we anticipate having a ceremony. We'll have people playing on it before we have that ceremony. We're going to have that ceremony when it's fully complete. We will also be having a ceremony for the walking trail. Of course, every commissioner is invited to those lists, as well as our Parks Advisory Board and other local leaders and officials. So those are coming up. The trail one, we have to get in the ballards there, right there at the corner of Buckeye, and I think that's Woodland. So we're just waiting on those, and once we have those projects complete, you'll get invites for those ceremonies. The only other thing I wanted to mention is the water lines, the water line replacement project that has begun. That is replacing our 6 water lines. It was, I think, three 10-inch, 2 16-inch, and a 12-inch line that will go up the hill from the water plant up into Feaster Park where there's storage. We're replacing those with 2 24-inch lines. That has started. Had to have some conversations with some high water users in the area as we go through those projects, but that is underway. That's all I have, unless the commission have questions for me.
Commissioners? Questions?
No, not on that.
Any comments?
Yes. I had a small nonprofit reach out to me last week. They referred to maybe we help the warming center at some point with maybe some utilities, and I'm not aware of it, so I don't know. But they had mentioned that, and then we had maybe gave a grant or something to the 24-hour daycare at one point, maybe, that moved from Willow to west over by King Saver store.
Mm-hmm.
And they was wondering how is there a way that they could get some kind of help or relief. They do give back to the community and help a lot of unfortunate people, unfortunate families.
Yeah. So ABC Daycare received an economic development grant. Excuse me. So that money is designated for things like that. The warming center is one of our funding requests, and so that went to some utility bill relief. Happy to talk to any nonprofit. They can come in and speak with me. Generally, what you'll see where the city is spending money is in places where either one, there are funds specifically set aside for that type of work, or two, if the city would have to reasonably or would have a reasonable expectation to fulfill that same service if those entities didn't exist. So, a nonprofit that is maybe doing secondhand clothing, that's not something the city would ever get into. Kiwanis or Rotaries of those clubs, but having a warming center for folks to get off the streets in the winter. So it varies, but I'd be happy to visit with them and see if there are any opportunities for the city to support.
All right, I will send them your way.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Just one. Street lighting at the tennis courts. It's still pretty dark there if there's no lights on. Is there a solution? I know we've talked about it before.
You were saying at the tennis courts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Either having one or two of the lights that are on the north side of the court on a dusk to dawn timer, or another light pole somewhere, or what?
There's still 3 poles left to plug into that system, and 6 left? Yeah, 6 left. So they're not all installed, and that's why those hadn't come on yet. But we do have that on our list to evaluate on dusk till dawn and timers, but the light poles aren't all in yet.
Right. Just want to keep residents from going across the street there and opening up that box and flipping the switch themselves.
That had been ignored for a long time, and we'll make sure that residents can't access that electric box.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
I have noticed the streets around the hospital are getting worked on and making progress there. Looks good.
Yeah, some of them are complete. Some still got a ways to go, but
Things are going.
it's moving forward.
Things are working. Yeah.
Speaking of tennis courts and that lighting area, that's for the courts only. Do you have lights for, say, the little parking area on the north side or the street there? Is that already lit up well enough?
I don't know that parking is lit up. I think the lights that are in the court will, I'm sure, spread light on that.
Well, I mean, when
parking
the courts on the light are off, then what?
Then it's
Dark.
dark.
Yeah. I was wondering if there was one light to light.
We don't have, there was no lights in that project to add to parking or anything there. But I think you'll see that when the lights are on, they're going to illuminate that area as well. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of streets, how do we? A person called me. Oh, this was about a month ago. Asked me how do they decide? How do we decide what streets are going to get repaired and which ones aren't?
We're having a work session this evening, and we're going to talk exactly about that. And so you'll get a thrilling conversation on streets that will probably last 30 or 40 minutes, and hopefully all of those answers you'll be able to share with the public. So if people are listening, essentially there's a few variations, but we try to look at what street is in the worst condition. That would give it a rank. What streets are most used in town. So if there's a street that only 3 or 4 people are going down, that's hard to go and for commissioners to approve money on that when you have another street in the same condition that have 200 cars going on it. So there is a lot that goes into that. The quantity of streets that need it is difficult to keep up with all of that. Now we did some that were out west, 6th and 7th, which are complete, that were I think at one point you could take a bike and jump off of it. So the condition of the road, how often it's used, are big factors. The third factor within that is grant opportunities. Is there a water line underneath it that needs to be replaced and we don't have the funds for, so we can't quite do that. A lot goes into that. We'll spend, like I said, about 45 minutes tonight going through that.
All right, thank you.
Short story is we have about, if we wanted to re-asphalt every street in town, it'd be what, 150 million, maybe more,
Probably more.
probably more.
Yeah.
And we have about 3 million, 2 to 3 million a year to decide. So
And how many years?
We'd love to do them all right now, but we can't.
Yeah.
Just
but-
can't be done.
You know, what we continue to work to develop is a good maintenance plan. We have, when is the project coming in on 11th here? That's pretty quick, right? The seal coat? Micro seal. So in April and May, we have a group coming out that's going to be testing out a seal coat. Variations of these coats have come and gone, but this is one that they're coming no cost to us. KDOT's going to be coming out and looking and watching and evaluating their product, but always looking for maintenance solutions, which are less than completely redoing a road. Another thing we found out on 4th Street is sometimes you go in and you're just doing a mill and then an overlay, but there's not enough. It's really small, and so you run into problems with the construction of it in the past, and maybe because the base underneath it has problems. So there's just so much that goes into it. It is difficult, but commissioners, we do sit in a room and annually look at those projects and try to make our best judgments on how to move forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Then at this time, I move to recess to executive session to discuss confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets for corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships as permitted by KSA 75-4319B4 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the city manager, director of finance for a period of,
10 minutes.
okay, 10, we'll make it 15 to include a short recess, and to reconvene in the commission room at
7:55.
7:55.
7:55. Thank you.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Vice Mayor Maples, to recess to executive session to discuss confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships as permitted by KSA 75-4319B4 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the city manager and director of finance for a period of 15 minutes, to reconvene in the commission room at 7:55 p.m. Commissioner Kendall.
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Golden.
Aye.
Yes, I did see Dr. Beaver, and I have new glasses on. resume regular activities, returning from executive session. No action was taken. And we are now ready to adjourn.
Was that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Vice Mayor Maples to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands and an aye from Commissioner Golden?
Aye.
Thank you.
And at this time, we will move to work session, commission work session for Tuesday, February 24th. And discussion items.
Mr. Mayor, you had mentioned earlier in the meeting, recording versus you wanted to come off the dais and come down to the tables. Is that the anticipation?
Yes. We come down to the
Everybody go down
tables,
the
yeah.
tables?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Work through this, yeah.
All right. Get up again.